Some textbooks will make you feel like you don't know anything, not because you're not smart, but because the textbook is complex or contains too much information, much more than what you need. So in this video, I'm going to be helping you to learn how to use textbooks. Maybe you don't know how to study with more than one textbook, or when to check out textbooks and you realize that you buy textbooks, you keep them for the whole session, you do not even open them. So in this video, let's break that down. First thing first, don't start with the textbook. Check your lecture notes, check the slides, check your class notes, check out those things first before you go into textbook. Textbook is a more comprehensive version, more complex version. You don't want to go into a land where you don't even have an idea about it first. Read your notes, even if it's not comprehensive. Get a general idea first before you now jump into the textbook rather than going in blindly. In fact, the essence of a textbook is that you need a comprehensive material. So if you find your notes, the lecturer's notes, the lecturer's slides very comprehensive, who needs a textbook? Because you don't want to open the textbook and now get lost in things that are irrelevant. So first thing first, get a general idea. Don't just jump in blindly. And how do you get a general idea? Start with the basics, the jottings you took in class, the lecturer's notes that the lecturer sends, the slides, or all of those stuff. Start with that first. Then step number 2, try other textbooks. Please don't be boxed into recommended textbooks. Recommended textbooks are good. It is good to buy and to use recommended textbooks. But then if you feel like it is difficult for you, you don't understand the concept, don't box yourself into a textbook that you find complex and you do not understand simply because somebody said it's a recommended textbook. Use the one that you find simpler. If you find another textbook and that's not even what everybody is using and is working for you, the concepts are easier, please go for it, because at the end of the day, it's not about who reads that textbook, it's about who understands the topic and can reproduce it properly. Right. It was literally one time that somebody that I respect academically recommended a textbook that she used for me for a particular course, and I bought it and I didn't use the textbook at all. In fact, I bought that textbook with the recommended textbook and I ended up not using that textbook. Now, here's the thing. She bought the textbook because she found it helpful. Then I bought the recommended textbook and also bought that textbook because she said she found it very helpful. So maybe the recommended textbook was a bit complex. Then when I compared both textbooks, I realized I preferred the recommended text. For her, she didn't prefer the recommended text. So don't box yourself. Explore. If you think that this textbook is somehow, or the topic, check out another textbook. It might not be the topic, it might be that textbook. Some textbooks are just complex and it's just the author's fault, not yours. That's why people buy textbooks and they don't use them. I've bought textbooks before that I had to abandon it and I ended up using one that I found in the library that was so easy. So please do not box yourself because you spent money to buy this textbook, or because it's the recommended textbook, or because someone said they used it and they found it helpful. Just find the one that works for you. Now, how do you find the one that works for you? You have to compare 2 or more textbooks, right? Now let's move to step 3. Step 3, I'm going to tell you how to carefully compare 2 or more textbooks, because some people don't know how to study with more than one textbook. Like once the textbook is not one, they are like, how do I study with 2 textbooks, right? So I'm going to tell you what you're supposed to do. Also, when you want to study, you might be tempted to grab 2, 3, 4 textbooks because you want to really understand the topic in total, cover everything that has to do with it. So if this one did not talk about it, so you're sure that one is going to talk about it, so you want to get the whole idea. I get it, but please don't confuse yourself. Pick one textbook first and then check out that concept in other textbooks. Now, by the time you are doing this, obviously, you know that before we even carry textbook at all, we've studied our notes. We have idea about the topic. So look at that topic. Then look at the topic in other textbooks. Do you think anyone is easier? If you think anyone is easier, pick that one as the main. Now, when you pick that one as the main, you will now check out all the textbooks again. Do you think that it is the same concept that all of them are talking about? Are they all explaining the fact that there are only 3 types of acquisition of property, for instance, right? If one textbook says that there are 5, okay, you pick the 2 from that one and you join it to that one. If another textbook says that, oh, there's another definition for this, you might decide to abandon it because you already know one definition and it's probably just the same definition in different words, right? So you pick one text. You're not just you will not read this one finish, then read this one, then read this one, right? You glance through everything, pick one that you find very easy. That's the main one. Then you check the others. Is there anything that they spoke about that is not in the main one? Now, I'm not saying that they spoke about in a different word, because obviously they're different textbooks. They can't be written in the same way because they were written by different people. So check if like everything is the same. If this one says there are 3 theories, are the theories 3 across everything, right? If this one says the theory is 4, pick the 4th theory. If this one says the theory is 2, pick why the first 2 theories are the predominant ones. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So you just need to take note of the overlap in the material. Pick where there are differences, not that you study the whole of this, study the whole of this, study the whole of this. At the end of the day, you're having like 3 different definitions of just one thing that you're going to give one definition for. Then you now switch back to the simpler source. And the third thing is for you to not, absorb everything in the textbooks. We all know that textbooks are more complex and more, broader than the actual notes. So if in your lecture notes now, your lecturer did not even bother about a particular subtopic, you don't need it in the textbook, or you don't. If they say, oh, check out this, read, like they didn't talk about it, but they told you to read up about it. But if you can see that they intentionally abandoned it, they removed it, don't stress yourself, because doing this will help you get a broader view about the topic without getting lost in irrelevant details. If the lecturer says in his notes that the road is A and the textbook says the road is B, you already know that in that place now there's like a clash. It's not about this view or that view or the types are more than this, is about a clash. So what you need to do is to confirm from the lecturer, like, which one do you want me to follow? In any case where you cannot confirm, just go with your lecturer. We are doing theory here. So learn to give yourself the permission to skip some things in the textbook. The 4th thing you need to do is to explain it back in your own words. When you read something and you get it finally, close the book and say, okay, so what section 66b is saying is that the judicial powers extends to matters between persons, between government and persons, and between government. Just try to say it in your own words and just be sure that you understand it properly. The last thing you need to do is to make your notes work for you. There's no way you're going to be studying with a textbook and then when you're jotting, you're just copying and pasting that complex terms there to that, or you know that you would have forgotten what it means by the next time you come to it, right? So just change it to simpler words, simpler terms, as long as the original idea and the meaning is still retained while you're jotting. So make your notes work for you so that when you pick your notes the next time, you don't need to go back to the textbook. You understand everything at the same time. It covers it enough. And don't forget to also use like maybe diagrams or charts or stuff like that for things that are very abstract. For things that are very abstract, it is important that you put in more focus to it so that you can retain it. Abstract things are things that obviously they're not tangible, they're not seen, they're not felt, and things like philosophy, like justice, like freedom, things like that that has to do with theories and explanations, they can be harder to learn than abstract things like maybe when you're talking about land. You can see land, you can stand on land. When you're studying things that has to do with the mind, like philosophy, like psychology, they are harder than tangible things. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to things like that because there's nothing physical to attach them to. So I really hope that by the time you're done watching this video, you know how to study with your textbooks better, and now you can maximize them. Dust them from the shelf and start using them with your notes. The best time to subscribe to this video was 1 minute into the video. The next best time is now. So don't forget to click that subscribe button, like, share, comment, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.